So I finally got my inverter. As you can see, it's a Multiplus 3000. It's not 3000 watts. It's probably closer to about 2500 watts. It's what they call 3000 volt amps. And it will finally give me some 110 volt or 120 volt power to do my heater, water heater, as well as my cooktop, which is an induction cooktop. For that, however, I needed that specific one, by the way, because of its size. The entire area that I reserved for it was planned on this specific inverter. So it should fit exactly, but really quite narrowly. And as you can see, I emptied, well, at least the left part of the storage area. That's the location for my DC to DC converter, my solar controller. I got a main shutoff for my batteries. I removed all the cables. So it's quite empty now, and you can see I got a lot of stuff out here. Those are the controllers and the DC to DC. Got some bus bars, lots of stuff. It is still difficult to get that inverter in there, so I made myself a little helper, and that hopefully solves the issue of getting it in there correctly. I already installed a sort of back plate, a sort of French cleat, and the inverter has to be on top of that and then load into it, and then furthermore connected with 2 screws at the bottom. So that's what I'm gonna try now first. Alright. The plan is to put it on top of here and then slide it in, and then ultimately that has to go down like this, and then whenever I have it out here, and lift the entire inverter over that French cleat into position. I hope this works and prevent damage to the finish of the inverter, hopefully. The whole issue is that the inverter is about 40 pounds in weight, and you really cannot move that at a distance. So I hope this solution works. That works. Okay. Now I have to turn it the right way up. That works. Okay, that should be it. Now I have to lift it into place. I think it works. Yeah. Oh boy. That was way easier than I expected. And here you can have a look at it. So the next step is I have to remove this front plate, but there's a connection point here at the bottom, as well as here on the left as well. So I have to screw these in, and then it's attached. Now it's permanently attached with all the screws needed. Next step is to remove the front plate. Now I can remove that, and that's the inside of the inverter charger. That inverter has, of course, a factory setting, but officially you should change that setting to lithium batteries at a minimum. That's most you have to do, except for the amount of input, 15, 30 or 50 amps. But you can do that by the app as well, so that's not the biggest issue. To change that one or two settings, you need a special connector, an MK3 USB connector that connects to your computer program, all kinds of stuff. I purchased this from lightharvestsolar.com, located in Portland. I've had a very good experience with that company. I'm not being paid, nothing free, just my own opinion. First of all, the regular pricing is already cheaper than the ones that I could find. But besides the pricing, I've seen a couple of videos from them. Their whole stance is that they want to supply to do-it-yourselfers, I think, mostly. They assured me that the standard factory settings is good for my setup, including the lithium batteries, and that I absolutely didn't need that configuration dongle. If a business can sell you something for 80 bucks, they'll sell it to you for 80 bucks, and only those that more focused on service and delivery was very good service, so I recommend them, and I'll put a link in the video as well, by the way. The next thing that I'll be doing is putting the cables in from the AC in and AC out. The cables for the battery in and plus and minus, as well as that dongle that will go to the batteries. Well, I decided to start with the dongle, the Bluetooth dongle from Victron. VE Bus Smart Dongle, so I can use my app to connect to the inverter. First have to connect these two wires. Okay, that works. That can be attached this way. This has to go to power, so that's the power on the battery. And this is some sticky tape. So I have to remove that and put that on the side of the battery. Still had some connectors, and hopefully that this one is long enough and not too long. It is a little bit difficult to get it off, the protection, but oh, wait a minute. That should be it. Oh, there's a strong glue. Okay, the other end comes through a hole out here. I'll guide it here alongside. And it has to get into the inverter in either one of those two. So there's an opening here. That's next to the cables, the DC cables. And that has to go in there. And that's all. Okay, now I'm gonna attach the AC input, and there was the cable that I did in the beginning from the driver's side underneath the door on the outside, and that cable ends up here, and it's about 4 or 5 feet too long, but I have to cut that to length and then attach the 3 wires, white, green and black, to the inverter. Let me see where I needed to cut the cable. Hopefully I measured it correctly. Otherwise we have a problem. And then finally, I still want to attach it to the wall. And the same thing I'll do with the AC out. I got both cables now connected, and I was able to reroute this dongle wire for Bluetooth through this hole, so that's a little bit neater as well. So the last thing that I still need to do is put some cables on these DC connectors, and that's what I'm going to do now. The next step is I need to have a 400 amp fuse between the 2 lines that I'm pulling now. This is one of them. That's the fuse. So I connected it temporarily on that part. And this way, with the lug already more or less fitted, I can exactly measure where I need to cut the wire. So I got my cable and I found my notch, and let me just make sure. Yeah, that's one. So now I'm using my hydraulic crimper. Yeah. That should be it. I've got a beautiful crimp. Let me see. That looks good. So, and that cable is done. So you got one cable in, and that's connected to the fuse on one side, and the second one is also connected to that same fuse. It's a 400 amp fuse, and this of course connected at the same here as well. Let me see. I kept these cables at the same length. That's what they advise. And just a tiny little bit longer than absolutely necessary. First I'll continue with the black ones. Need 2 of these as well. They go straight to the bus bar. Oh, before I go, please pay attention to these missing children. If you have any information, please call the appropriate number. Hi guys, this is Joey and we're building a one-of-a-kind RV. Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. If you enjoyed the video, give us a like and subscribe. Or better yet, leave a comment. Thanks guys. Done a good job.